5 minutes.
10 minutes, 5 minutes. Yeah, that's however long our listeners will actually stay listening to us.
They won't put up with it for that long.
No. I mean, I didn't put up with the crackling and popping that was your audio from the last episode.
I am sorry. And, and it was weird.
It's not your fault.
We didn't, well, whatever. It was my equipment's fault. We didn't notice it, just the two of us. So, and it was on my tablet. So I'm thinking, this is great. I have another option. We tried my phone. We tried the tablet. And now if the Wi-Fi signal holds out, we'll be able to use my desktop again. But that's the big if. I'm waiting for
Fingers
Elon.
crossed.
So if you talk to Elon, we got to get.
Yeah, I have a call with him later today.
Good.
Before this episode, we were complaining, and I'll go through the whole complaint again about my neighbor.
Yeah.
The minute I hit record, did you hear the lawnmower start going next door?
No, I didn't. Do you think he was looking in the window waiting?
I almost feel like it sometimes. So I don't remember. John didn't remember, but I don't remember if I shared this on the podcast or not.
Yeah.
But over the last few months, I belong to this crimemappers.com. And what they do is they partner with your local police. And anytime someone reports a crime, it'll go on Crime Mappers and it'll show you where that crime happened, it's valuable. And most of the time I'd say it's semi-accurate, but over the last few months, there have been crimes in my neighborhood that have been reported and they've put my address. They were fraud. And it was very fraudulent that they would put my address, as John pointed out, as a joke. But it was upsetting, and I tried to call the website. They said, call your Metro Police. I tried to call them. I couldn't get to anyone, do anything. Well, on last Tuesday, I was taking Peyton to school, and we were pulling out, and my neighbors had the police at the house. Two Metro Police cars pulled up next to their house, and one officer was walking over to their house, and Peyton and I are like, oh, that's interesting. The very next day I get an alert from Crime Mappers and it's my address again. And I'm like, this is absolute bullshit. I found a complaint line. I finally found somewhere where I can complain. And I sent what I call a cubic nastygram, which is the nicest thing you can possibly read, and probably isn't really a nastygram whatsoever, but at least relaying the fact that I'm not happy with this. And to their credit, I haven't called them back yet, but to their credit, 15 minutes later, I get a phone call from Metro Police. We'll figure out what that is later, but they rent, which is not a big deal. That's not a bad thing, if you're in a certain situation, but they break all of the HOA covenants that we have.
And that's really the big thing. That's really the thing to me, Nick, is that if you have renters, as the owner of that property, you're still accountable for what your renters do, especially when it comes to the HOA.
I agree.
It's not like they can duck out of HOA fees just because they're renting. They still have to pay them, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, no, the renters don't. The owners do.
No, the owners do. Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah,
they have to follow the covenants.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So I get very annoyed when things like, I know they're not looking my window knowing, but it's just ironic that the minute I get done complaining to you and it just drives me nuts. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to calling back Metro Police to get that fixed. You know what?
Well,
here's the thing.
Maybe you can get them to handle the lawnmower thing too.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about that. That's a good topic that I saw an article on earlier today, but
okay.
It's not the fact that they got it wrong. That's an easy fix. I know the Metro Police, they work hard. There's nothing. I even said that in the emails. I'm not complaining about any of the officers. I realize they have one of the hardest jobs that you could possibly imagine. This is it's a clerical error, I'm sure. I just want it fixed because here's the thing. I'm not the only one in this neighborhood that looks at that website.
For sure.
And if people and our friends look at that going, the cubics have fraud and assault. Oh yeah. By the way, did I mention it was assault? This last one,
assault and pepper.
Fraud. The third one is assault. And I'm just, that's almost, you know what? I'm not a lawyer, but that is almost
so
not defamation. What's 3 years away? not defamation. What's the other one?
There's
I
the
can't think of
print
the word.
thing, and there's the So yeah, I understand.
So anyway, it's
the interesting part about it, Nick, though, is that if you had assault on there, everyone would know that it was Jen assaulting you, not the other way around. So
I'm sure.
I think
I'm sure
you've got coverage.
But still, it's the matter of the fact. It's what if I were to run for office or try to get a new job?
Right.
These things are going to end up somewhere, and I'm going to have to answer for them. So this is hurting my reputation. It's hurting my family's reputation.
Potentially it is. Yes. No,
potentially.
If it's a mistake, it's one thing. When there's malicious intent, that's another. So obviously it's not that, but
libel. That's the other one I was looking for.
Libel. Yeah. Because and I think you're absolutely right. Just because of the similarity of the house numbers, it's obviously a clerical mistake and something I'm sure they'll rectify without any problem. They just won't do any retraction statements or anything. We want everyone to know that Nick Kubik is not an assaulter.
But as long as it's not on the record, that's the thing. As long as it's not on the record.
Yeah, right, for sure. But I don't know. Yeah, that'll be an interesting thing. There's nothing record oriented. It's just for people who check. It's like a sexual predator registry. It's kind of like that. They can change it, but that's another place you would not want to be on accidentally. That's for sure.
Exactly. Yep. So anyway, that's my complaint for the day. And I have so many.
Oh, it's the only one. The only one. Well, hell, we knocked that out nice and quickly.
Yeah. Right. See, told you 5 minutes.
I swear I'll be all done with this.
Yeah.
Real quickly, you're talking about the guy mowing in one of our old neighborhoods. Funny because we had a neighbor kitty corner across the street who was just nice. They were nice people, but they were
self-employed. It's catty corner for those of you in the South.
It's not catty corner. All right. It's meow corner.
For the people in the South, it is. Right.
Yeah, I know. We'll just do the cat sound. Across the street, she would take a nap in the afternoon, and our next door neighbor was the neighborhood lawn king. He would double cut his lawn every week. And he had 2 lawnmowers, one for the first cut, and then he'd switch lawnmowers for the second cut. And he would, it seems like without exception, to tell her here, let's hear that, say that again, to hear her tell the story. Every time she took a nap, he mowed the lawn. So it was hilarious. Do you think he's watching? Just kind of keeping an eye on things so, okay, let's start it up. And it was, a small enough lawn, probably a quarter acre, maybe a little bit more. But mow once, shut it off, and you kind of go, okay, well, at least he's done. And then fires up the other one, which was like a bucket of bolts. It sounded like every time he would mow with it. And so if you thought you were going to get some sleep after the first one, no, he would double cut. And it was always a different angle across the lawn than he would do the first one. It was just awesome. But he's the guy that did snow plowing he's up at 4:30 in the morning plowing snow. So he's always the first one to be done. But anyway, nice people. It was just a funny situation. Everybody's neighborhood has people like that, it seems like.
Yeah. Well, even the guy here, we have right across the street from the neighbor, is directly across the street. He's that type of lawn mower, but he never does it early in the morning. He never disturbs anything, but he is a double cutter. I mean, his lawn looks like a golf course. It's beautiful.
Wow.
Which is nice. He's the one who actually gave me, some suggestions on how to get my lawn to actually look like one instead of a dirt pile.
You know what? As long as this is the same as the guy at the gym who gives unsolicited advice. If it's unsolicited,
this wasn't unsolicited.
I understand. I want to hear that if I'm asking for it. But you're right. This I tell Lisa this too. There's one guy at the gym I go to, and there are actually 2 gyms now because we're closer to one than the other, same ownership. But there's one dude, and he kind of goes at the same time every day. So I try to avoid him. I get along with everybody. This guy gave me unsolicited gym advice. And I don't like that at all. I, uh, first of all, I'm bigger than he is, and it's not like, oh, thank you. You're new to working out, and you're giving me some. Thank you. That's and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, thanks, and moved on from it. But he keeps bringing it up, and then it's just awkward every time I see him because I don't know if he thinks I rebuffed him or whatever, but I did not take his advice. So,
well, John, he just wants to be your friend.
Oh, but don't do it that way. Anyway, but it's the same with landscape stuff. If you ask for it, that's one thing. If you don't, I don't want to hear about it because if you say I don't have that guy in my neighborhood, you're that guy. So,
guy.
Just know that
don't be that guy.
And we had the golf course guy, Nick. We had the guy next. He was definitely, his lawn was beautiful. That's the guy. The lawn. Well, and we lived on a golf course, so I had one behind me too. It was great because 2/3 of your neighbors always took care of their lawns impeccably. The next door people on the other side, not so much, but they were normal like us, I guess. So anyway, pretty funny that you got to have somebody like that for sure.
You got to have somebody, yeah. And I feel like. I was also expressing to John, which I think we've covered before, but I'll just say it again, and I'll say it more plainly than the cubic way. I like where we live in the city proper, like in Nashville. I like our location. I like our house. I am growing to dislike my neighborhood more and more every single day. I will never, ever live in another neighborhood, if I can help it, that has an HOA. Never, ever.
Oh, yeah.
And never lived close to it. Now they're chainsawing.
Oh, next door.
Now they're using a chainsaw.
Well, I think that's allowed in the HOA papers, I think.
No, actually, it depends on who's doing it. If he's doing it, no, it's not allowed. If he's got a company coming in and doing it, yeah,
then it is.
Of course they're allowed. But
and it is interesting like that because HOAs. It's a double-edged sword. We've had some that we belong to, and for some it was good because it probably kept the value of the houses in good condition, which is, for all intents at least, the thing that they're trying to do primarily. Some of them get a little overbearing, though. You can't have 2 flags up, or you can, stuff like that becomes a lot more regimented than anything,
Well, okay, let's unpack that a little because this is how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Jen and I don't know if it's an only child thing. I don't know if it's just the way we were brought up, but we are rule followers. We follow the rules. So while I agree with you, I think there are certain rules that HOAs place on people that are way too regimented. For example, we can't paint the front of the house or paint the house unless we have HOA approval. That I think is stupid. However, we follow that rule. Let's use my neighbor as the example. We have a rule in the neighborhood that says you're not allowed to park a car on the street for more than 24 hours. You are also not allowed to park work trucks in your driveway. Even if you run your business out of your house, which I know he does, you're not supposed to park work trucks. He parks 2 cars in the street every day and 2 work trucks in his driveway.
But he's not the property owner, so he's not. He probably thinks that he's not regulated by the HOA rules because technically he's not. The owner is. Yeah,
but while I agree, I think that that rule is too strict. I don't see any problem with parking a car in the street. I really don't. Especially our roads are very, very wide. We don't have snow removal.
But
parking. It's okay. It's not like
let me give
junkers.
Let me give you the flip side of that.
If it's a rule, you should follow it.
Sure. Well, the flip side is neighborhoods all over in Southwest Florida. And that's where you have a house that's really well maintained and beautifully kept. And next door, you have a dump. And you have all sorts of yard junk, and you have vehicles in the driveway and vehicles in the street. And so what does that do to the value of the one that's nicely kept? Well, it obviously detracts from it. And it's almost incredible how it is around here because you don't have planned neighborhoods as much as you do in some other areas. So it's not like a subdivision. It's over time, people have built in empty lots. And so there's,
Right.
there really aren't any rules or anything like that. Zoning is, you're not going to have a business right next to, so they have regular zoning. It's residential, but there's nothing outside of HOAs that states, minimum size or what, any requirements and things like that. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. It just leads to a disparity among the housing, and so is it worth a lot more? Is it worth a lot less? I don't know. Is the junky house worth more because it's next to a nice one? Probably, but some people just don't take care of their stuff. It's as simple as that. And it becomes very evident when you drive through some of these neighborhoods.
Yeah. For me, it boils down to the fact that we are rule followers, and what the rules say are X, Y, and Z, and you need to follow the rules,
or change
whether
them.
I agree with the rules or not, you got to
them.
follow them or change them.
Yeah. Petition
or change them.
Petition.
Exactly. My
petition
other neighbor on the other
them,
side, right. He, before he was, now they're moving out. not because
before you drove him out of the neighborhood.
Right. No, his wife is a college professor. She got a job here. They moved in. She got a better job in Rhode Island, so they're moving to Rhode Island, which is fantastic for them. Great couple, great family.
Nice.
Wish them all the best. Love them. Wish they would stay. But they're moving. But they, I forgot my point to that. What was I saying? What was I going to say about that?
They're nice people and they're leaving. I don't know.
They're nice people and they're leaving.
Truly, it's the blind leading the blind here. Gee, I wonder what I was going to say. John? I don't remember what I was going to say.
I'm distracted by the weed whacker now next door.
Oh,
well, actually, no. I think that's a blower. So, have you seen there are a number of communities that have outlawed gas-powered blowers and gas mowers in neighborhoods?
I've heard of it.
Oh, happily, I remember what I was going to say.
Okay, go.
Yeah, well, when you're a podcaster, it kind of wish that they were electric. But no, so before she got her new job, his name is Ian. Ian was going to try to become the HOA president because he was sick, and even in the 9 months he lived here, he was sick of the way the HOA was run, which I don't disagree with him. So he's also a rule follower.
Yeah. And again, if you can follow them,
there were some rules that need to change.
Well, yeah, right, exactly. Follow them or change them. Take the appropriate steps to change them. It doesn't have to be, by force or anything like that. But yeah, that's that's pretty interesting that you were going that route.
Yeah. Anyway,
I like it.
So that's the big deal. That's what's happening.
So it is the stuff. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say.
Sorry, we're still over top of each other a little bit. Yep.
A little bit of a delay today. I think the longer we go, the more there is a delay. But so we'll keep this short. But I want to hear, because you were talking about my HOA and the things, and you don't have an HOA right now, but you have some other new homeowner issues that you've been facing the last couple of days.
Yeah, I'm not good.
Yeah, that.
Sure. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because we've talked about it ad nauseum. The pool, we love our pool and it's great and we're blessed to have it. And so, but there's cleaning that goes along with it. We had an above ground pool several years ago at our first home that we bought, and that was green almost instantly. So, let's open the pool. And they came and they shocked it, and it was beautiful, crystally blue. And we were, so excited. And then a week later, it's green. And because we had no idea what the heck we're doing. Now we know what not to do, but we have a lot. I mean, this is in ground, so there's a lot more stuff to be paying attention to. Anyway, we're learning as we go. We've hired a pool company to come in once a week. They do their stuff. And they're having a hard time, just like everybody, getting good employees, and so it's a young dude who was here this morning, maybe 18 years old. He had rings in his ears. Looked like he fell down the steps carrying a tackle box. Dennis Miller, thank you, Dennis. But a nice kid, and he didn't know half the stuff we needed him to, and we're talking about pH levels, blah blah blah. So that's one. The other one is the lawnmower that we bought. Genius. Lisa goes, hey, they sell these things, these lawn tractors, on Facebook. So let's see, and it's guys fixing them down here, old guys usually, because I'm in Southwest Florida, and they fix these things and they sell them. And this guy brought over this Cub Cadet, probably 15, 16 years old. Oh, he said, I went through the whole thing and changed the oil and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, so we got it for, under $1,000, let's just say. And big surprise, broke down. Well, come to find out, as I'm getting under the hood, it has an oil filter that A, is not original, and B, has not been changed at any time recently. So changing the oil apparently didn't mean changing the filter, which really kind of defeats the purpose of changing the oil. Could not find one to replace it, so on and so on. It broke down the other day after I mowed one time using it. And so we had the shop come and pick it up, and they said, John's going to be about $600 to fix it. I said, what are you going to give me on trade-in? He said, 200 the way it sits. I said, well, that's 800. That's pretty close to what I paid for it, if you consider the repairs. So we're getting a new one delivered tomorrow. And so nice. I'm looking forward to not having an old, boy, it was just nasty. So anyway, it's those things that you don't want to spend money on, but you might as well and get it done. No, I hate mowing the lawn, but it's better on a tractor. And certainly here when it's, 90 degrees and humid, it's not bad to do it. Inside the fence, we use a push mower, which is fine. It takes 10 minutes, maybe 15. That's it. But the rest of the lawn, you pretty much need a rider to get around. So anyway, all fine. It's just that home ownership stuff we haven't had to deal with for a while.
Yeah. I wish we don't have enough space to have a riding lawnmower, but I wish we did. I'm going to duck out to see if the light on my camera, because it's facing my backyard. Let's see if the light on my camera will adjust so you can see the hill, the rake. But I have to do it with a push mower, and it's really hard to even do it with a push mower. So here we go. Let's see if I can.
Awesome. Try to do it. Yeah. There? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's okay. It's not as steep as you made it sound.
Oh, it's steep.
It's really steep.
It's really steep. It's really steep.
Fine.
Like I have another mower, but it doesn't have power assist on the drive, and I can barely push that thing up that hill. So I got the new mower that I got has power assist just so I can push it up that hill.
You should use golf shoes.
Absolutely ridiculous. So. Yeah, right. The old time, the ones that actually had the spikes.
Yes, right.
But I usually go all the way back up to the fence and mow down because that's the only way I can do it. I can't mow up.
Yeah.
Which in the front yard I actually mow down now in the front yard too, but I used to mow up in the front yard because it worked just fine. It wasn't as steep, but yeah, we're on a pretty steep hill back here.
And it's funny too, because to look at it, you go, oh, well, that doesn't seem that bad. But when you get out there with them, I'm with you. That's exactly what it is. You go, oh, yeah, this is a lot steeper than it looks. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
nasty.
You talked real quickly. You talked piano, too.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead. I was just going to say you have a nice piano. You want to do a quick shot of it quickly again? That you say you're trying to get rid of.
I'm too wrapped up in my chords here. No, we have a piano. We bought it for Peyton because she wanted to learn to play the piano, and we got a really good deal. It's Facebook Marketplace type of thing. And it's a beautiful piano, but now it's taking up way too much space. So I'm redoing. The girls are gone. They're on vacation. I'm on vacation too, technically, but I stayed home to watch the dogs and to do projects around the house. And I'm trying to convert my office. Not only it's going to stay my office, but I had a really nice, not really nice, actually it was a really shitty bookshelf up there, but it was a bookshelf. And I had most of our books up there. But I'm the only one that ever goes up there, and I'm not even the biggest reader in the house. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Why don't, and we're not happy with the way Jen's office is set, because she's got her desk. We've got a roll top desk that used to be Peyton's desk when she was homeschooled, but we don't use it anymore. It's storage. And then we had the piano, which basically is storage, because Peyton doesn't play it anymore. Jen and I don't play the piano. So anyway, I moved the bookshelf that was up in my office downstairs, which it's not finished yet because it's on its side and I have to put it up. But every time I put it up, it collapses. It's a mess. So I have to wait for Jen to come home before I can put my books away. But I had to move the piano because I put it against the wall the piano was on. And it looks really good, but now there's no space for the piano. So I put it in kind of in the corner where we had a bench sitting, and it's just sticking way out. But it's a beautiful piano. I wish I played. I don't have the time to learn. I don't have the patience to learn, which was when I first took piano lessons when I was a kid. It was the same thing.
Oh, it is the patience.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't.
Well,
you can't
it's a lot of it is, it's just, no. You have to learn that the hard way, sadly.
And obviously I have a lot of it.
I took a course. This is even before the internet. I found some course and it was CDs. Remember the days of the CDs, and I learned to play from that. And it's been 25 years ago. Yeah.
So you want me to be a little bit of a smartass? So if it was
when did you ever ask my permission?
The internet. I know, but if it was before the internet, that means you were learning how to play the piano in the early 60s, huh?
Whatever. Before Al Gore really took over and released it to the mainstream.
Oh, okay.
Weenie. Wow. Yeah, it could have been the 60s though for me. Just FYI, so we're clear.
All right.
Yeah, because I was involved in the Apollo 11 trip. So believe me, I know all about it.
You were involved with it?
Sure. Let's say I was.
Yeah.
But we did, I got a piano in Everett, which is made in Michigan. If anybody knows their acoustic pianos, found one on eBay back after the internet was already introduced, and decided we were going to buy it because it was this really nice $300 acoustic piano console. And I found it and contacted the guy, and the auction, it went for, $350 or something like that. That was his reserve. And I contacted him and I said, look, we'd love the piano, but our budget's $300. Anyway, you could see your way clear. And he was kind enough. He said, sure, that'd be fine. So we drove from Detroit, which is, let's see where the hand is, this one, I guess. You go, this is Detroit, like here. St. Joe, Michigan, is here. So it's kind of across your hand, if that's the state. And we drove over and picked it up, and I had a Ford Sport Track. Remember those? It was like a 4.5-inch box. So a small pickup with an even smaller box. And we somehow, a friend of mine, Keith, and I think it was Keith, that the two of us went over and got it. Keith was not a big dude. And between the two of us, we somehow got it loaded on the truck and ratcheted it down to one side of the box. If that truck would have tipped over, or the piano would have tipped over, it would have taken the truck with it. It was so solidly wedged. So I'd take turns, even just changing lanes, and it was kind of like this with the truck. It was an extra, 300 pounds or whatever it was to get it around. But that was a kind of a harrowing trip, but a great piano that we put in our music room at the house in Michigan. So yeah, that was kind of cool. Fun road trip, a little scary maybe.
Yeah, I can tell. So we're actually, I don't know how it's going to work, but we're trying to give it to my wife's cousin, Jordan, and her husband, Kevin. They're about to have their fourth kid. And, we just thought, hey, they can have it if they want it, but they're in East Tennessee. So if they do want it, that's going to be a harrowing trip getting it there. Definitely not going to fit in my Jeep.
Yeah. No, but a trailer, you get a Jeep trailer. That would be fine.
Yeah, exactly. So that's our stories. Those are our stories for today. Hopefully
Today's
our
stories.
misfortune has is today's stories brought to you by the folks at PoddiMouths, the podcast for the people, by the people, and never mind. Anyway, head up to PoddiMouths.com, check out all of our previous episodes and all of our social media places, all of those things that we should do, but we don't as really good digital marketers. And, cheers to you, John. Cheers to our listeners, watchers, viewers, whatever you want to call them. Smash that subscribe button. Make sure to follow us. Put on the bell. What did they say with the bell?
Ring the bell.
I don't know. Smash and subscribe bell. If you're on YouTube, all that good stuff. Notification bell. Yeah. Make sure that you get notified. You may notice on YouTube that we have now, because YouTube launched its podcasts, we are actually now marked as a podcast on YouTube, which is very exciting. You can also find us on Substack. I forgot to mention that last time. We've got a Substack. Not that we're going to write anything there, but it's there. So anyway, folks, I hope you have a wonderful day. I just had to take my sip of coffee. Exactly. It's the main thing. So folks, have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful day. We will see you next week. One of these days, we might relaunch that episode that we missed, because we actually did record one last week. It just didn't hit the airwaves. I'm still working on it to see if I can fix the audio. It's going to be a trudge, but I think I can do it. So anyway, folks, like I said, have a great day. John, good to see you. Talk to you soon. And we'll see you next week.